Hey guys, so welcome to our first moving vlog. You'll have seen, actually wait, maybe not yet, welcome. So yeah, we are moving, which is really exciting. This has been a very long, drawn out, stressful process to get here. Bit of a backstory, I guess I'll go into that now really quickly. So we put our house on the market for sale in September, late September, and there's some interest and stuff, and anyway, it was all going fine. We found a house that we absolutely loved in October, I think it was. We went and saw it for the first time in mid-October. We absolutely loved it. It's in a different town than where we currently live, and yeah, we absolutely fell in love with it. And amazingly, budget-wise, it was within our budget, and it was so much more house for what we ever thought we'd be able to afford. Like, it's a beautiful house. I say it's a beautiful house. It is very outdated. The interior is very outdated. Completely needs to be redone and renovated and all of that sort of stuff. But it's livable as it is, and the bones of the building are just amazing. It's a beautiful building. It's a joke with Perry that I call it the TARDIS, because it's very unassuming from the outside. Like, it doesn't look like much. It doesn't look that big at all. But once you get in, it's like, oh my god, there's so much space. So it's a bit of a TARDIS, which is great. I love that about it. And yeah, it has a massive garden. It has, and one of Perry's requirements was like a separate garage, and this one has a double garage, so that's a double bonus for him. And yeah, it's like plenty of space for all of us to spread out and have like dedicated offices and all that sort of stuff, which is something after the last year of being here during the pandemic with all of us at home all the time. We've realized that we're kind of really outgrowing the space we're in now. We're currently in a 3-bed, like 2-floor apartment, which is great. Like, it's really good size for us, and it would be fine if Perry and I weren't both working from home the whole time. So it's just a bit of a squish at the moment. You know, Perry rolls out of bed and he's at his desk kind of thing, and it's nice to have a bit more separation between your work and home life type of thing. So anyway, I'm rambling on. It's been quite the process to get here. Like I said, we put our house on the market in September. We found the house that we absolutely love in October, and I was very sure that we weren't going to get it because we didn't have an offer on our place. We weren't ready to move on it or anything, so we just had to wait and see what happened. And it got to the end of November, and we'd had lots of interest, lots of people coming to see the place, but we hadn't had any offers yet or anything. The market was a bit funny at that time because we'd been in like a second lockdown, and so during the month of November we had like 0 viewings because we had another lockdown, and then things were very restricted at the time, so getting viewings organized was a little bit tricky. We got to the beginning of December and I was pretty much like, well, it's not going to happen now because it's just not going to work out. At the time we had there was a stamp duty holiday here in the UK. So if you're not from the UK, you might not know what stamp duty is. The stamp duty is basically a tax you pay when you buy a house. So if you buy a house, you pay, I think up to a certain point, you don't pay anything. Then between another bracket you pay like 3%, and then above that you pay like 5% or something. I can't remember, but it's incremental, and it's the percentage of the value of the property. That's what you pay in tax essentially when you purchase it. And so because of the pandemic, the government has basically waived stamp duty, had waived it until the end of March. And so we were like, when it got to December, we're like, it's not going to happen in time, because buying and selling property here in the UK takes quite a while. It's not a quick process. It does take a while. The average is anywhere from 2 to 4 months to buy and sell property. Like, it's not a quick process. When we bought this place, it was very quick. Everyone was so surprised that it would happen within like 8 weeks. Literally, it was exactly bang on 8 weeks from when we first saw the property to when we got the keys and signed on the dotted line and it was ours, sort of thing. So it's a very different process than in some other countries. There's a lot more checks and stuff that happen, and I'll talk more about that later. But today is Sunday the 9th of May. a bit of an idea of where we're at timeline wise. Anyway, so we had a viewing in early December that went really well. The guy came back to see it again, and it was a bit of back and forth for a couple of weeks, and eventually we accepted his offer on our house like a couple of days before Christmas. And we had our offer on the place that we wanted to buy accepted a couple of days, like a day after or something, and the house that we saw back in October was still available. So that's the house we're buying, and that's really exciting. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of one of those places where I can imagine us living there for the long term sort of thing. It could be our forever home, as it were. And the couple who live there at the moment, they've been there for over 40 years, so it was their forever home as well, which is quite nice. Well, almost their forever home, doing one more move. But yeah, so this has been going on since Christmas. It's now the 9th of May, like I said. This has been the most stressful, drawn out process known to man. Again, like I said, I think in the US it's slightly different. Over here in the UK, you have your estate agents or real estate agents, but you also have lawyers involved, solicitors, when it comes to buying and selling property. So you can actually buy and sell property here in the UK without a real estate agent. That's called a private sale. So you can do it without a real estate agent, but you have to use lawyers. Like, there's no way around it. Like, there's no way you could do it yourself. Anyway, I am going to let you watch past me, who was very optimistic and joyful about how quick this whole process might have been. Back in 2020, this is I think late December, like 29th of December, we went back to see the house again, just to double check things and to make sure things were the way we remembered them. And yeah, so I'll cut back to that, and I have some footage from the house as well. The people who live there were fine with me taking some footage as well, which was really nice of them. So I will share that with you guys. I'll probably voice over some of those bits to explain what different areas are, and then I'll be back to chat a bit more about how it's all been going. And yeah, morning guys, welcome back to the vlogs. Hi, I'm so excited. So today is actually the 28th of December. No, 29th, it must be the 29th, yes, 29th of December, sorry. So Vlogmas has just ended, and yes, I'm starting a very special vlog here, although I guess this might not actually be the very beginning, there might be another introduction. But Perry and I are in the process of selling our home and buying a house, so which is so exciting. I haven't obviously shared this news yet because, you know, things can still fall through, so we didn't want to preemptively share the news too much. We've only told our families and a few close friends. So but yeah, so it's very exciting. We actually had an offer put in on our house on the 23rd of December, and we had our offer accepted on the house that we want to buy on the 24th of December. So literally just before Christmas. I think that was the 23rd and 24th. It might have been the 22nd and 23rd. Either way, just before Christmas. So it was all very exciting stuff. And there was a lot of ups and downs in the week or two prior to all of this happening, where we were like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And yeah, it was all just a little bit up in the air emotionally as well as like practically. But today we're gonna go and see the house again that we want to buy. It's in a completely different town than where we live at the moment. Still in the same part of the country, same county and everything, but like just a different town. And we absolutely love this house. It's got so much potential. Like, it's not perfect by any stretch. No house is, unless you're building your own from scratch, I guess. But it's as close to perfect as we're going to be able to find for what we can afford. And in fact, it is so much more than we ever thought we'd be able to afford. So we're gonna go check it again today. Just take another look, take some measurements, remind ourselves of what some of the rooms look like, take some notes about some of the things, like how many electricity points they have. It's an old building, it's a Victorian house, so which is even more exciting. And we never thought we'd be able to afford like a proper historic sort of building for our budget and the size of house we wanted. And it's got the most epic garden, which is pretty cool as well. Anyway, we're just dropping Layla off at preschool this morning. Perry's doing the drop off, so waiting for him to come back, and I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what's going on. So we're a little bit early. We're gonna be very early this morning. So we're just gonna go check out the area a little bit. There's a nice there's a river. Is it a river? I guess it is a river at the back end of the house, and there's like a river walk you can go walk along to get into the center of town, or you can go via the main roads. There's about a 20-minute walk into town, which is great. It's further away from town centre than we are currently, but this is a much bigger town, so I never expected to be so close. So that was a bonus, that we're going to be somewhat walking distance into town. And yeah, it's just gonna be nice to check out the area a little bit more, be able to take a look at the house in more detail. When we actually went and saw this house back in October, and we had Layla with us, so it was a lot more tricky to take note of different things. So this time we're going back, we're going on our own, and we're going to get to really take a look at everything properly, so very excited about it. Okay, so here we are, just driving along. Yeah, so it's just going to be some quick little snippets of the house. I think this whole clip section is about 3 minutes long, but I'll do a proper sort of like tour through the house once we've moved in. And it's empty and stuff, so you can sort of get a better feel for it. This is the river that's near the house. It was kind of overflowing at the time. It was like bust its banks at a few points. Like you couldn't actually walk on the footpath because it was so full. So we're starting out the garden. So we have a greenhouse, which is lovely, and there's like a patioed bit at the top of the garden. And then you come down and you've got this little grassy area, a little playhouse, which Layla will love, I hope. And then you come down some more stairs. That's the thing, the garden is kind of like quite steep, so there's different levels. And this is, I affectionately call this the allotment. It's basically the giant vegetable patch with a bunch of different vegetable beds, which is pretty awesome. And down at the bottom of the garden is this lovely jungle gym play area and a little summer house, which is going to be the little knitting corner, I guess. In the it's pretty small. It's that you've got room for a small table and a couple of chairs, and then at the very bottom there's a couple of more sheds. Yeah, it's a pretty big garden. And then we have a downstairs shower room, living room, nice and cozy with a fire, and yeah, it's obviously because it's around Christmas time, so the Christmas tree up. But yeah, it's really cute, cozy little space. And then the conservatory, which is between the garden and the living room. And the kitchen coming up next. Again, like I said, it's fairly dated. The kitchen itself is new-ish, but the decor and stuff is all fairly dated. So all of that will be upgraded over time. We're not in any particular rush to do lots of major work or anything, but let's come up to the ground floor, guest room. Or rather, this is going to be the guest room, I think. That's our plan. We're fully open to rooms being like shifted around. I think Perry decided this was going to be his office. He liked the fireplace in that one. I think this is the master. This will be our room initially. And yeah. And this, I think this one's going to be Layla's room. Like, we're fully open to the fact that we're probably going to shuffle around rooms a little bit over the years as Layla grows up and our needs and things change. And then this is the attic. So this is actually going to be my office, studio / secondary guest room if and when we need it. A little view out from the top of the house. And yeah, and that's about it. Okay, so that's the house. Like I said, I'm very excited about it. And like I said, it's very dated on the inside, but if you look past the old decor and like the, you know, dingy carpets and all of that, the stuff that needs to be replaced and sorted out, the bare bones of the building is just beautiful. And I think I said it in the video, but it's a Victorian building, so it's over 100 years old. So yeah, everything started out okay. We got all of the initial paperwork done in early January, and then we had to wait for, we have a process here in the UK when you're buying houses, they do something called area searches, and that's just a check for like a whole bunch of stuff that's like within the local area around the house to make sure there's, you know, things like if there are any known sort of like issues that you might want to be aware of when you're buying property, things that are around the neighborhood and in that area. And that can take quite a while. For us, it took about 4 to 5 weeks, I think. Then there was an issue when the area searches came back, and it took another couple of weeks to get clarification on that. And honestly, the whole process, that whole thing was a bit of a mess in terms of the way our solicitor handled it, and I was really unhappy with how they handled it. And I let them know that too. Like, honestly, that was like the first thing that went wrong. Then we had an issue from our buyer solicitor. They raised an issue with something on our lease, on our title deed, which wasn't really an issue because it never came up when we bought the place, but they made an issue of it, so we had to deal with that. That took like another month to deal with. And then right when we got to the point where we're, you know, everyone's finally ready and agreed and on the same page, bear in mind, up until this point, there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of stress. And we got close to the deadline of the 31st of March, and clearly we got past that, and we hadn't settled it. So we were like, great, now we're going to miss the stamp duty deadline. Now we're going to have to fork out a whole lot more money that we hadn't planned on. Thankfully, the government extended the stamp duty holiday for another few months, so we're still within that time frame. So that was good luck on that regard. But it was so stressful during that whole process, sorting out the title deed stuff and sorting out some of these other things. Honestly, it was ridiculous. And like at one point I was so stressed out, I was physically unwell. Like I was physically getting sick because I was so stressed. And I didn't really equate that. I didn't realize how much it was physically affecting me. Like I was suffering from tension headaches. I didn't even realize it until it'd been going on for about 2 weeks, and Perry was like, you need to call a doctor because you've had like a solid headache for 2 weeks, and that's not normal. Like you should probably get that checked out. So I had a phone consultation with my GP, and he basically said, yeah, it sounds like you're just very stressed and it's causing tension headaches. His official prescription was to essentially self-care. He was like, take some time and relax. So since then I've kind of backed off a bit work-wise. I've just been doing the minimum I need to keep on top of things, but I haven't really been working on any new designs or anything. I've just been so stressed out, and so my mental and emotional energy has been so sucked up by this whole process that I've not really been able to do a huge amount else, to be honest. I've not been able to do a huge amount of work or anything else, to be quite frank. It's been very stressful. I don't know if I've mentioned that or not. I know everyone says that buying a property is probably one of the most stressful things you can do. I always thought that was to do with the actual move, like the physical aspects of it being stressful, like actually the logistics of moving all your stuff. I thought that was the stressful part. But no, turns out dealing with lawyers is the stressful part, and it's just how out of your control the whole process is. I realised early on, I was saying to Perry, I was like, look, I realised the thing that stresses me out the most about this whole thing is that I can't control any of it. It is all out of my hands. Someone else is dealing with all this paperwork, and all I can do is nag them about it, and that's about it. So it was just really hard. And there were other things that came up as well, like other issues that came up but got dealt with, and so all these little things which I was expecting some of, but at one point it looked like we might be completing before Layla's birthday, and her birthday's back in February. So at one point it looked like we might be moving at the end of February. Then it was like, oh, it might be middle of March, and then it became, oh, it might be the end of March, then it became, oh, it might be early April, then it became mid-April, and like you can see how this is going. Like it kept just getting delayed and delayed, and a lot of it was down to the fact that our buyer solicitor was just very unresponsive. Like it took weeks. We'd send them an email or send them something to review, and it would take them a week to get back to us, and then, you know, we'd reply to them again really quickly, and it'd take them another week to get back to us. It was just taking so much longer than it needed to. Like it would take them 5 minutes to look at this email and respond. Like it didn't need to be this long drawn out process. And so that was really frustrating. And obviously we're not allowed to contact that person, so it was, like I said, out of our control, and that was the most stressful aspect of this whole thing. Then we finally got to a point where our buyers was on board, ready to go, and this was, I guess, like 2 weeks ago now. We got the okay from them, all good to go ahead. And then everything was squared away, we thought, with the people we were buying from. They were just waiting for us to get everything sorted with our buyer, and so our sellers. And we go back to them to be like, okay, are you ready to agree this date? And they were like, oh, well, we've now, because originally their plan was, because they were moving up north to be with their kids. They originally were going to put their stuff into storage, go up north, and then find somewhere to move into and buy somewhere. So it was a very short chain. Like, we had our person buying our place and we were buying another place, and that was it, essentially. And then they were like, oh, well, actually, during this whole time whilst we were waiting, we found somewhere we want to move to, and we've now linked our purchase of that place to they've added to our chain, essentially, another purchase and another party that we now have to get an agreement from on a specific date. And we were like, hang on, what? Like, you didn't tell us. Nobody told us this. We only found out at the 11th hour that now there's another party involved in this whole process. And we were just like, what? Like, what? Oh my god, that was another load of stress at that point. And then there was a whole issue with that particular, the people that party became unreachable for some reason. Like, they weren't responding, and that became very stressful. And eventually we just wrote an email to that was passed on, I guess, to the people we were buying from, just saying, look, you either need to break the chain and sort that out separately after the fact. Like, you're not going to link that to this whole situation because we weren't made aware of it. No one ever told us this. You should have told us sooner, sort of thing. And that wasn't the agreement under which we made our offer when we went to purchase and all that sort of stuff. Like, either break it, or like, I don't know if we're going to be able to go ahead, because at this point, like, it's just a mess. Anyway, they agreed not to break the chain, essentially, and deal with them separately and not to have it linked. And so we finally got the agreement on the date. Then because it took so long to get there, we then had to go back to our buyer just to doubly confirm that they're okay with it. And then their solicitor didn't respond for like 2 days. Like, our solicitor could not get hold of them for 2 days. Eventually he had to escalate it to that person's manager to get them to basically get a move on and get an answer. So by the time all that happened, it was Friday. The Friday just gone, and we were supposed to exchange on Friday. We're supposed to move on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So when we first, 2 weeks ago, we agreed this coming Tuesday's date was the date that we agreed with everybody, or tried to get agreed with everybody. And by the time we got everybody to agree to it, it was Friday 2 days ago. So now we're at the point, we were supposed to exchange on Friday with completion on Tuesday, which is a short time frame. Typically you have about 1 to 2 weeks between exchange of contracts and completion of the purchase, and that's to give you enough time to organize things like logistics of moving. Like, you need to get power, internet, whatever, bills sorted, you know, make sure money can be transferred from banks, all that sort of stuff. That's the time frame they typically need. So then that was becoming really compressed, and it can be done in a shorter period of time, but it's just a lot more work for the lawyers. Now we went into the weekend, everyone is still on for moving on Tuesday, movers are booked, everything's been booked for Tuesday. We still haven't exchanged contracts, which means that it could still all fall apart at this point. And so yeah, tomorrow is Monday. Our movers are coming to pack everything up, and hopefully we'll exchange contracts to complete on Tuesday, so we can move on Tuesday. So it's a mess is what I'm getting at. This whole process has been such a mess. It's just so much incompetence, so much just ridiculousness, and just frustration. And everyone I've spoken to about this, everyone's just like, that's ridiculous. That is genuinely ridiculous how long this has taken. It's not so much about it having taken a long time, it's just about how it seems there have been so many silly mistakes that have been made along the way, not just by, you know, by our solicitor as well as other solicitors. And, you know, we were very on it in terms of knowing what needed to be done and when, and we were very on top of like constantly chasing our solicitor to like do this, do that, check this, check that, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just honestly, the more I think about it, the more stressed out I get, because it was just so damn ridiculous. Anyway, we've started tidying up some stuff. We do have, our movers are going to be doing the majority of our packing, but we have packed some of our own things that we wanted to make sure were packed in a specific way and stuff. And I don't think the movers will move like garden stuff for some reason, I can't remember. So Perry's hiring a van for moving day to move some of the garden stuff and some other more fragile things that he wants to do himself, like his computer and stuff like that. Yeah, and Layla's actually at my parents' now. She's going to be there for most of the week. Even though we're still under sort of like mild COVID restrictions here in the UK, you still can form what's called a childcare bubble with another household. So whilst like we as the adults can't go to my parents' house, my daughter Layla can, and so we've utilized that for this week only. So we dropped her off this morning. We met up with my parents at the services, dropped her off with them, and she's going to spend the week with them. So that's one less thing for us to have to stress about. It was quite funny. I say funny, it was quite sweet. Last night I was putting her to bed and I was like, you know, Layla, this is your last night in this house. When you come back, you'll be coming to the new house. And she's just like, oh, that's sad. I'm going to miss my room. It's like... But, you know, she's also excited about the new house and stuff. I mean, she has seen it. She saw it with us when we went the first time. So yeah, we've been running around like headless chickens, trying to tidy, organize, and just get things sorted out. I still have a few things I need to tidy up today. I need to pack away my spinning wheel. My office room downstairs is a bit of a state, and so that needs to be looked at and taken and like tidied up a bit. I just kind of want things a bit more organized, so when the movers come to pack up, it's not such a mess, and so it's a bit easier to see what's what. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so that's the update. It's funny because I was actually vlogging this whole moving process from the beginning till now, but it was getting really long and I was getting very ranty at certain points, so I was like, you know what, I'll just do a little recap video and maybe that'll be better. That'll be less emotionally charged. Less emotionally charged would be better, because yeah, I got very upset at certain points, and actually ranting to the camera was very helpful just to get things off my chest. Even if I'm not going to be sharing those clips or anything, it was actually very therapeutic to just rant at the camera. Anyway, that's everything so far. I'll vlog a little bit over the next day or so whilst everything's getting packed up and stuff. But the one downside is, because everything's happened so last minute, hopefully it's happening last minute. Like I said, this could all still fall through. We might still not move on Tuesday, who knows at this point. Like, it's also like still up in the air, and I can't believe we're at this point. Like, we're 2 days away from moving and we still don't know if we're actually moving, honestly. We're not going to have internet for about a week after we move, because it's all last minute, and by the time we knew for sure, we were like, yes, okay, we can still move on Tuesday. Perry called to like book someone to come in and hook up the internet as soon as possible after we move. They're like, oh well, we can't come for like a week until a week after, so we're going to be a week without internet. We'll have our mobile data and stuff, but I won't necessarily be able to upload videos and stuff. So this vlog will go up. I have another spinning vlog that I have recorded, and that's almost ready. So I'm going to get these 2 videos ready so I can upload them and have them sat as drafts on my YouTube, and then I could just pop on and publish them during the week. So there'll be a couple of, there'll be this video, there'll be another video, and then hopefully once we have internet, there'll be the second moving vlog, which will be the actual moving day and moving in and getting settled. It might be a couple of videos, I don't know. So yeah, fun times. I'm trying not to get too stressed out. I'm just thinking about tomorrow is making my stomach do flips, because I know it's going to be pretty stressful waiting to find out if we've actually exchanged and what's going on, but it shouldn't be an issue because I think like everything's in place now. It's just it happened too late on Friday to actually do the exchange. So yeah, fingers crossed. All right, I guess I might film a few clips today whilst I'm tidying up a bit more. Otherwise I will chat. Yeah, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. I'm, like I said, a bit frazzled right now. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so today is day one of packing, or the first day of the move really, I guess. Today's the packing day, tomorrow's the move day. Supposedly, we still have not exchanged contracts. It is about 9:30, yep, just gone 9:30 in the morning on the 10th of May. And my stomach is doing so many flips and turns right now because I'm so nervous about today. Trying really hard not to be too anxious about it. I know things will eventually work out. I'm just, like I said, because we've got everything booked logistically for moving tomorrow, I'm just worried that if there are any delays that it's just going to cause more headache trying to rearrange things. Yeah, well, I mean, thankfully Layla's with my parents for most of the week. They'll be bringing her back down on Friday. So if things do get pushed a day or two, it's not the end of the world. It's not ideal, but not the end of the world. And I will make it work. Anyway, so that's how I'm feeling this morning. Anxious, nervous, tummy flips going on. Just waiting for our movers to get here to start the packing. We've already done like a bunch of packing ourselves, to be fair. Like it's not, we've made a good start on it. I think there were just some certain things that we wanted to pack ourselves anyway. Right, so it's sort of like mid-afternoon now. It's around 2:30ish. Movers are gone. They are done for today in terms of what they plan to pack today. They'll do the rest tomorrow. Hopefully we move tomorrow, because to no one's surprise anymore, we still haven't exchanged contracts. Still time to do it today, but who bloody knows anymore. Honestly, it's just so exhausting. Anyway, the movers have left me 3 empty boxes here because I need to pack up all my yarn and fibre, and I told them that I would do that because I didn't want them doing it. So that's a job for this afternoon, because they did actually say normally they'd be able to just leave them in there because they don't weigh much. But it's because the shelves in those units are glass. So these units there, the shelves in there are glass. So they need to take the shelves out for transportation, because otherwise, you know, if they go over a bump or something, it could break. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I went out earlier, I didn't actually end up vlogging anything else, but I went out earlier to go get some lunch and go to the post office. And I walked past it's like a haberdashery shop. They sell fabrics and stuff like that, and the upstairs they have yarn and other things as well. Well, they're closing their upstairs section of the store, which is a bit sad, but it did mean their yarn was all on sale. So I popped in. They didn't have a lot of stuff I was super interested in, but they had this Patterns Alpaca Merino Twist. It's 60% wool and 40% alpaca. It's about a worsted weight. And I think it's, yeah, 50 gram balls, 90 meters per ball. And I picked up a bunch in these 4 colors. So I think I got 6 or 7 balls of the gray and then 4 each of the other 3 colors. And I just thought they were 50% off. So it worked out to be like £2.50 a ball, which was a bargain. And I couldn't turn that away because, of course, just right when you're moving, a big bag of wool yarn is just what you need to add to everything else. Basically, it was a stress purchase, that, and then I picked up some chocolate as well because I was like, oh, still really stressed. Trying to breathe and not get too stressed about this whole thing, but here we are. Right, so that's all done now, and yeah, I guess I'll check back in if we finally exchange. Right, see you in a bit, hopefully. The fact that I'm not jumping up and down with joy should tell you everything you need to know that we did not exchange today. It's now 7 o'clock, end of the day, it didn't happen. So like, our solicitor thinks that we might still be able to do it all in one day, which it is doable. Like, they, you know, that does happen, but it's very uncommon and it's bloody stressful is what it is. So what happened, and I'll try and give you a very brief summary of what happened and why we're in this situation. I don't know what is going on. There seems to be a serious level of miscommunication, incompetence, general idiocy between our buyer and his solicitor. There's something going on between them, like one or both of them are either idiots, incompetent, or both, because there is absolutely no reason why we should be in the situation that we're in now. So this morning, everything's okay. Just bit of history, because I know the majority of my audience are not from the UK, so you may not, it might make sense to give you a bit of like context here. So when you buy and sell property here in the UK, all the money goes via the lawyers. So, you know, our lawyer, because we have a mortgage, so our lawyer has contacted the bank and the bank has released the money to the lawyers. So the lawyers hold the money and they then carry out the transaction essentially with the whole situation, and like they handle the contracts and they handle the money and all of that. So our buyer is a cash buyer, he doesn't have a mortgage. So he's paying upfront for everything. Gets to this afternoon. Literally, I think it was like 4:30, at which point we found out that our buyer had not yet transferred any of the money to his lawyer, to his solicitor. And we're just like, what? Like, how did you think you were going to buy a house if you haven't given the lawyers the money yet? It was just ridiculous. We had a phone call with our lawyer about half an hour ago, and even he was just like, I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't know why this has happened. I don't know how we got to this situation or how we got to this point in the process. And like, it didn't occur to him that he hasn't paid the money yet to buy the house that he's buying. And oh my goodness, it's just like, how has this happened? So the plan is now he sent the money, it's all been cleared with his bank. So it's either with the solicitors now, or it should be first thing in the morning. The bank's transferred it. Like, genuinely, absolutely gobsmacked. Like, even our solicitor is just like, I don't even understand how so many things have gone wrong to get us to where we are now. Like, it just makes no sense. I don't know what has gone on. There's been some sort of breakdown in communication somewhere along the line between solicitor and buyer on that side of the line, and it's just beyond comprehension at this point. The plan is we will exchange in the morning and then complete afterwards. So Perry was asking him and was just like, so if we exchange in the morning, roughly what time do you think we'll complete? Because we don't actually own, we won't own the house that we're buying until we've completed, which means legally speaking, we can't move our stuff into that house until we've completed. Now, the people we're buying from are moving up north, so they're going to be leaving in the morning with their movers to go up north, so they're not going to be there. The house will be vacant, so we could technically start moving our stuff in, but legally, we're not allowed to until we've completed. See where this is going. So we were asking our solicitors, like, so roughly what time, you know, how soon after exchange do you think the completion will happen? And our lawyer, like, his words literally were, I don't even know anymore. Like, because nothing has happened the way it's supposed to happen in this entire process. At least for the last 2-3 weeks. Nothing has happened the way it's supposed to. So it's just kind of like, just keep moving forward and hope for the best kind of situation. I mean, the only positive is that everyone is in the same boat at this point. So yeah, here we are, the end of the day, Monday the 10th of May. Apparently we're moving tomorrow. But yeah, nothing set in stone still. So we might be exchanging and completing on the same day. Right, my brother's calling me, so I'm gonna call it a day, and I will hopefully talk to you guys tomorrow.